Please let me know if you are able to see the entire screen. Okay. I hope people are able to see the screen and also able to hear me. Okay, so I believe we can get started. First of all, apologies, sorry for the technical glitch. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to one and all present over here. Thanks for joining us today for the ITIL Mastering the Art of IT Service Management. I'm going to be your facilitator for today, and we're going to talk about mastering the art of service management, right? So before we go into that details, I want to make sure that we have a context setting as to what we will be talking today. In the context of today's webinar, we will be talking about a difference between ITIL and ITSM. So we will talk about what does ITIL stand for, what is the IT service management mean here. We will talk also about right from foundation till expert, what is the mechanism that we have, what are the certifications that are in place. Okay, and I will also let you know that what are the career opportunities that you get in after you complete your ITIL foundation course, right? And what does the landscape look like? What are the different roles, responsibilities, and opportunities that you can get after you complete your certification and with required experience that you can move forward. Then we'll talk about Edureka's training program and schedule. There is a ITIL foundation course that is starting from this Saturday. So we have, we understand a lot of you people are working. So in order to facilitate that, we are having 2 subsequent weekends for 3 hours each that we will run through these programs. We're going to spend the next 35 to 40 minutes discussing about all these elements. Just before that, I wanted to give a bit background about myself. So I'm Suresh GP. I'm a service management practitioner. I've had about over 14 years of experience, certified ITIL V3 expert, project management professional, CGIT, certified in governance of enterprise IT. I've done right from consulting, implementations, training, and also certifications for organizations in service management, right? So at any point of the time, if you have any questions, please use the questions pane to list down your questions, and we'll pick it up as we take a logical break across. Now, if you look at service management, so let's understand what is service management and what does it mean in the context of ITSM, right? So if you look at ITSM, which stands for IT Service Management, before that, ITIL. ITIL stands for IT Infrastructure Library. So this is a best practice framework which has been born out of infrastructure management. So what does infrastructure management in real times mean that? A simple example could be you have a website that is running, right? So the website has got an application running. So you have a server in which it is hosted. You have a database like a SQL server or an Oracle database. Then you have a network, and we are all speaking together in internet. So there is a network connectivity that needs to be established. Then there is to be security access. So for example, Active Directory, single sign-on, and all that stuff to deliver a service, right? So infrastructure management, if I look at the next slide, it talks about right from server provisioning. So you could have Unix server, Wintel server. You can talk about enterprise blade servers, network management. So basically we're talking about wireless LAN, WAN, local area network, wide area network, and all those elements, along with VMs, right? So we provisions a lot of VMs. And if you are right now looking at cloud offering, we are doing a lot of virtual environment management. We talked about security, we talked about server, storage, right? So if we talk about storage, we are storing data in databases. So we have data models, we have repositories, where we have all those elements embedded as part of the storage management. And also, in order to monitor the infrastructure, what I mean to say monitoring the infrastructure is my website down? Is the performance of the system slow? So we need to get a firm understanding of how it works, and based on that, that will help us alert based on certain thresholds, sends notifications to say, hey, your server is full of disk capacity, so you need to do something to get it back to action. So we do a bit of all of these aspects in identifying infrastructure management. So ITIL, that is IT Infrastructure Library, has certain set of best practice processes that are used to address issues that come when you do this infrastructure management. Okay. Now what does it mean for you as professionals, and what do you think the organizations today require if someone wants to be in the profession of IT service management? So if you look at the way organizations' needs are, it could be in any line of business. So just for an example, let's say you are in telecom business, right? So you are into providing broadband services, you are providing telecom voice services, data services, and other stuff. So you want to roll out 4G services, like 4G network, increased connectivity, and you want to know the market. So what organizations are looking at is to understand what they need to move on, like for example, from traditional infrastructure to a cloud-based offering. So you can have your own business offering that is based on competition, that's based on demand. So you need to understand what you have today and what is it required to move to the future model of operation. So we call something like current model of operation, and from current model of operation, you know what are the skills that you have, and then enhance your skills or add people in order to move across to the future model of operation. So if you look at the right hand side that I have placed, you have to identify a set of competencies. So competencies are a combination of skills, knowledge, attitude, behavior, capability, roles, and staff to create an effective workforce. So organizations today are looking at creating effective task force or workforce by the virtue of giving, training people, giving them the required skills, on-job training. So as professionals, what you're doing now is to take the first step of getting yourself foundation certified, and then also look at how to use those knowledge, those skills into your workplace. Only then it actually makes sense for an organization to recruit you or give you career progression to move forward on this journey, right? So that's the context in which organizations today are looking at professional development or learning and development needs. Now, what is ITIL? So ITIL is IT Infrastructure Library. As I told you, it's a framework. So it is not anything prescriptive. It only gives guidelines, and it is up to us to use it into the context of organization. So because every organization is unique in terms of the way they have policies, procedures, best practices. So you need to have, something that fits into the organization environment rather than one size fits all, right? And as you know, every framework evolves over a period of time. So the version 1 started up in 1990, and now we are in version 3, 2011, right? So because right from the way we started out to what we are today, we have changed so much in terms of the mainframe world to .com world to what we see as Internet of Things, bring your own devices, DevOps. So we are really constantly changing and innovating in terms of IT, in terms of service delivery. So also your best practice framework has to evolve over a period of time in order to address the real business demand. So ITIL best practice framework is focused on delivering superior customer service. So what does it mean? Let's say you have, Dharmesh here, Ganesh Babu, Bibi Rao, and people here. Now let's say you guys are really smart excellent service desk professionals. So you're doing a great job, so the customer is happy. Tomorrow I am coming, Suresh, as a new person joining the organization. How do you ensure the customer's service is not impacted? So you need to make a process-dependent flow rather than a person-dependent one. So irrespective of whether Dharmesh is there, Ganesh is there, VV Rao is there, or Suresh is there, it still has to deliver quality service to the customer. And that's the best way to look at making this process dependent. So it's not only confined to IT. We have done it. ITL can be used in manufacturing. It could be used in construction. It could be then used in healthcare, in various industries as well. Now, what does ITIL v3 comprise? So there are 5 core volumes. So originally, this was developed by Office of Government Commerce, which is called as OGC. They have 5 core volumes now. So if you look at the circle there in the center, the blue one is called a service strategy. Now the strategy is the starting point. Look, if you are a telecom company, you are looking at providing data services, text services, voice services, broadband services, probably digital TVs and other stuff. So you are looking at first to understand what will be your portfolio of services. What is the demand? So you start from strategy. Then you design. So if I want to provide 4G service or 5G service, what's the kind of network that they need to have? What's the kind of continuity of service that I need to have? What is the kind of backup arrangement that I need to have? What is the kind of capacity that I need to have for this kind of a number of users? So you start planning your design according to the niche of the business. That is come under the second volume of service design. Now, once you have a design, be it for capacity, for continuity, for security, we also need to know how is this going to be transitioned before you get into production, right? So before someone hands it over to operations being live, we undergo service transition. So you look at who is going to be transitioning the work of development work to the transition team, who is going to be doing the planning and support team, how are you going to do a knowledge transfer to the operations team. So that's the next level, which is the orange item that is called service operation. And then encompassing all these on the periphery is the continual service improvement. If you look at that, every volume that is from strategy, design, transition, operation, and CSI have got set of processes. So we have about 26, 27 processes that are making the whole core volumes of ITIL. So you have 5 core volumes and we have 26 processes that will help you to achieve meaningful process that will help you deliver superior customer service. Now, from an examination perspective, and particularly for a professional or an individual, you have 4 levels of certification. So the first one is the ITIL v3 Foundation certification, which is the overview one, right? So you get a overview understanding of all the core volumes, all the processes, all the functions, what is it done, how is it used, what is the context, give some examples, practical cases to understand overview. Now, once you complete your ITIL v3 Foundation, which is typically in Edureka's things, we do over 2 weekends. So Saturday, Sunday, 3 hours each. And then we complete that as part of 2 weekends. And then you write an exam. So the exam is about for an hour and it's about 40 multiple choice questions. And then you need to score about 26, which is about 65%, and you get yourself certified, right? Now, once you get yourself foundation certified, that's the beginning, that's the basic level. If you want to further enhance your deep understanding of some of these sections, then you can go to intermediate. So under intermediate, when we will talk about 2 sections, which is called the capability module and the life cycle. I will talk about it. And then once you complete your intermediate, you become an expert. That means you have a good understanding of all the things in various details. And then if you want to further demonstrate your proficiency, you can submit a kind of a project or a thesis and defend your thesis. That's the ITIL master. Okay, so foundation, intermediate, expert, and master. Now, as I told you, the processes that we have, we are divided into buckets, the 5 core volumes of strategy, design, transition, operations, and continual service improvement. Now, so every box has got processes. So as you talked about strategy, you have demand management, then you have financial management. How are you going to budget it? How are you going to cost your customers? How are you going to do a break even and all that stuff, right? So we will discuss about all these processes in detail with some practical examples and use cases as to how this is helping business to deliver meaningful outcomes. So we will be talking on all these 5 core volumes in the sections that we provide during the course of foundation. Now, we talked about ITIL, which is IT Infrastructure Library. Now, what we are going to talk now is IT Service Management. Now, people always confuse ITIL with ITSM. ITIL and ITSM are two different things. ITIL is the framework or best practice, whereas ITSM is basically talking about the mechanism in which you use the organizational context, be it with policies, processes, procedures, in delivering something meaningful to the customer. So you will have your own security policy, you would have separate procedures, that means how to upgrade a server, how to do a rollout. So you will have your own standard processes, procedures, and then you align this with the best practices from ITIL to make it meaningful for delivery of service. So IT service management is more from an organizational context of coming up with policies, processes, procedures, individual certifications, right? When I talk about individual certifications, I'm talking about people where where we are talking about. Okay, is this better? I think hopefully you are able to hear me well, Pranav. If you are able to hear me well as we speak. So we are now into the ISO 20000 slide. Now, what this means is that from a context, this is more towards doing it for an organization, right? So if you are an organization who wants to get yourself certified, then ISO 20000 is the best way to get yourself certified. Now, what does it mean is that you have 14 of the processes, like you see service delivery, capacity management, under which continuity, availability, then control processes, resolution processes, relationship processes, all of them will be used in terms of getting yourself compliant, and then that organization can get themselves certified on what we mention as ISO 20000. So it's a ISO standard which certifies an organization to get themselves compliant with all the ITIL process. So I'll take a break here to see if you have any questions so far what we have seen in terms of ITIL, what is ITSM, what is ISO 20000, what are the courses at this moment. So let's move on. We are coming to 4 P's of service management. So we talked about service management now, and we want to understand more from a perspective of what does it mean for service management. So there are 4 elements. One is the people. Of course, you are the people who are going to be working in service management. Processes, like as we talked about 26 processes. So you will have separate process like incident management, problem management, change management, and all that stuff that will be working as part of this environment. Now, there are products, right? What do you mean by products is like you have tools, you have a CRM tool, you have a payroll tool, you have a civil application. All those tools are helping to deliver your business, right? And you're using a lot of sophisticated tools. So you might have your service management tools, a lot of service management tools in this market, from BMC, from ServiceNow, from HP. So there are a lot of people, so you will align these processes into the tools and then you start working. And then you also have partners. So let's say you are using your Windows systems and other stuff from Microsoft. So you have an operating system provided from Microsoft. Network, it could be from Cisco. So you have different partners that you will work with in order to deliver those services, right? So that's the precise thing about talking about people, process, products, and partners. So we will talk about all these 4 P's in the alignment of all these processes, how they work together to deliver these meaningful outcomes. Now, if you look at the way this is operating, we need to understand what is the landscape looking like. And if you look at this slide, it talks about internal IT, because there are organizations which simply deliver work only to the internal people, right? They don't do anything for external. It's only for internal employees. There's another set of things where you have your end users, customers who are paying it, and then you deliver that particular service, right? So you can have 2 extremes of that. And by doing this certification and getting relevant experience, you can do different things. One is to design this process, like designing IT service management, incident process, problem process, looking at an escalation matrix, looking at roles and responsibilities. So you can do also process implementation. That means implementing the process in terms of what is the key performance indicators, what is the turnaround time that this has to be done, who needs to be doing what, how will be measured in terms of goals, objectives. So all that could be a part of process implementation. The other one could be tools development. So I was talking about you have different tools in this market, service management tools from HP, from ServiceNow, from BMC, from CEA, name it what, they have all service management tools. Now these service management tools are primarily used to help and facilitate these people in the way they do this business. So you can get into tool development, deploy the tools. You can do process consulting. So I am a process consultant. So what I do is I go to different customers, assess their maturity of the customer in terms of process, see where they're doing good, where they're not doing good, provide some recommendations, and provide some gap analysis and insights to improvise the process. So with all the 4 P's, like process, products, partners, and people, right? So that also can be a good opportunity for you to embark on process consulting. In addition to that, we can do audits, that is for ISO 20000, and support, right? So there's a huge demand for IT support. So you might have seen people talking about Wintel support, Unix support, database support, network support. So you have a lot of people who are supporting infrastructure for a lot of customers. So this is all going to be important in the way we are looking at the scheme of things as far as opportunities are concerned for IT service management landscape. Okay, do you have any questions? Okay, now I move on to the service portfolio. Now, how does the services get aligned, or how does it look in for a sample in an organization? Now, every organization has got a service portfolio, which means it's like a catalog as to sell what is the services that they are providing. So in this example, we are seeing they could have enterprise computing services that will have server management, storage management, SAN, NAS, database management, mainframe management, all those stuff. Then we have infrastructure security service, like for example, firewall, threat, identity and access management, virus, all those stuff that could be part of your security services. Then we have network and convergence, which is talking about WAN, LAN, VPN, voice over IP, wireless, bandwidth, traffic or network protocols. Then we have end user computing, right? End user computing services can talk about how to manage your desktops, your laptops, and so on and so forth. So this is a typical sample. And how does they look in an org structure, right? So every organization has got an organizational structure in which these ITSM roles are aligned. So typically, and this is just a sample or an example, don't quote that this is how it has been followed. Just for an understanding, I'm being providing that. So you have a head of IT who has got an IT service manager. Let's say that service manager has got 2 teams, a service support team, which is more talking about the operational stuff, right? Ongoing basis, we have a service desk which is getting a ticket, fixing things of network, desktop, applications. Then there is a delivery team, which is looking at capacity, like how many users, concurrent users are logged into the system. Is my bandwidth sufficient enough to provide the service to my customers? Am I, if there is something, a breakdown of service, am I able to continue the service back? So all those elements will be part of a service delivery. Then you have the development teams, which are more into application teams. So they develop code, application support, application development. And then the strategy team, which is talking about an overall governance and stuff. So typically, this is how you look at the ITSM roles being interspersed in the scheme of your delivery. Now, coming to how is the certification organized? Now, we talked about ITIL Foundation, Intermediate, Expert, Master, right? So each and every level of certification has got certain way it is being tested. So when it comes to ITIL Foundation, it's more from a basic level, right? So you get an overview of what are the process, what are the core volumes, what is what. So you get just a feeler of overview of what are these elements and how is it helping to achieve the services, deliver seamless services. Now, when you go to the second level, so first level is basic, which is knowledge level. The second level, which is the intermediate level, it looks at management and capability as well. So which means to look at how capable are you in delivering those services, right? So you're looking at the comprehension aspect of, okay, I learned this is how the best practice is. How do I apply that into so how do I understand in the context of this? For example, someone says there is a sudden outage in your system. So how do you bring back to normalcy? So what is the best practice process? How will you follow a protocol to make sure that the outage is resolved quickly? How do you communicate to the customer? How do you make sure that this kind of unplanned outages do not happen again? So you start thinking about or comprehending about how this is being working. That's more from an intermediate level. You start applying those principles, right? So you will have scenario-based questions to see in this context, how do you apply, what is the best step to do that? Who will you contact it? Who is the responsible person? How do you communicate to this particular field? What is the best way to do that? So you get scenario-based questions to assimilate, understand in the context of what you have learned and apply those in the real life scenario and then get scored on that. And the last one is the advanced one, which is the master, where you should have done a project on service management and you should demonstrate what were the best practices that you implemented, how did you do it differently, and then get yourself stamped as to authority as to, yes, you have demonstrated the principles of not only knowing that, applying that, and getting that benefits, right? So that's the different levels from basic to intermediate to advanced level. Okay, so that's how the organization, the certifications are planned and thing. It's not necessary that you need to address all these certifications or go through all these foundation, intermediate, expert. You can stop with foundation. You can do an intermediate. It really depends on what is your career roadmap. What are you really seeking? And based on that, you will pick and choose the required modules to go ahead. Any questions? So far, do you have any questions in the way we have seen these aspects? I'll take a pause here to see if you have any questions. The last question, I haven't seen anything after 8:15. So please feel free if you have any questions to put it into the question pane so that we are able to look at it. Okay. Okay, so now if you look at this current scheme of certification, this works based on a point system. Now, when you do an ITIL foundation, which is the bottommost layer, you get points like 2 credits, right? So it's like 2 points. Then you have 2 streams, which is called the service lifecycle on the left-hand side. And the right-hand side is actually called capability module. Now, when I say life cycle, we're talking about service strategy, design, transition, service operations, CSI. So every time you do a course of that intermediate, you get about 3 points, right? So let's say you do service strategy, design, transition, operation, CSI, you've got 15 credits or 15 points, 2 points from ITIL Foundation. And then, irrespective whether you choose service lifecycle or a capability module, you will be using the management across lifecycle, which is the yellow portion, which will give you 5 credits. So once you get 22 points, then you become an ITIL expert. So you can either choose a capability module. I'll talk about what is capability and what's the difference between capability and a lifecycle when it comes to intermediate. But you can pick and choose either completely service lifecycle or completely capability or mix and match of it, and then do the rest of the stuff, right? So that's the point. So based on points, you get moved into the other ones. Now, from a prerequisite standpoint, ITIL Foundation does not have any prerequisites. That means you absolutely do not require anything to get yourself foundation training. But if you want to do a intermediate, you need to have ITIL Foundation certified. And similarly, if you want to do MALC, you should have completed all the intermediates. So after you do foundation, all the required other things will require you to complete the required prerequisites in order to proceed forward on this. Now, what are the capability streams? Now, capability streams are primarily more into deep dive practical aspects. For example, you might be a release manager or a change manager who are primarily looking at upgrading your server or rolling out a patch or rolling out a product. So you will be more concerned about release management, testing, configuration management. That means you need to know which server, where are you making the change, what are the firewall changes, how does it impact, what is the business impact analysis. So depending on what kind of roles that you play, you take those streams. So RCV stands for Release Control Validation. SOA stands for Service Offering and Agreement. PPO stands for Planning, Protection and Optimization, which will comprise on similarly to the process, but you will go more in detail of that process in the context of capability stream. Okay. Now, what do you opt? Do you opt capability stream or do you opt for lifecycle stream? So as I told you, one size does not fit all. So you can either choose a mix and match. Essentially, the capability stream that we saw is more from a practical, in-depth view of it. The lifecycle one is more of getting a better understanding overall, right? So we have an overall understanding of what it is, how it is working, and then you do get a better understanding. For example, people like me are ITIL experts who have come through. We have been in version 2, but if you do now, we come through a lifecycle mode. Now, what does it mean? We have a broader understanding based on the context of the business. How is this being implemented in a manufacturing organization, in a construction organization, in a healthcare organization? So we have a very broad understanding of the concepts, principles, and business context so that we'll be able to advise our customers accordingly. So you have to choose based on what is your interest and what is the career that you're looking forward. Now, from a job opportunity standpoint, as I told you, there are humongous opportunities in the level of service management. So you can become a process owner, like an incident owner, problem owner. You can become a process manager. You can become a process consultant. That means you design, you consult on specific processes. You can be a tool consultant. That means you map those best practice processes into the tools. You can become a solution architect, designing data models, alignment of monitoring, solutioning, process, tool alignment, all that stuff. You can become technical writers. You can do support staff jobs. I told you network support, desktop support, server support, all that stuff, deep level support. So you have plenty of opportunities to showcase your skills in support or delivery, right? And you become a service manager, service owner, that means owner of the service, or vendor liaison. That means, let's say you have someone from Microsoft, you as an organization, ABC is trying to create a ticket with Microsoft or Cisco, then you have a point of contact that you can interact with them and have a particular agreement as to how you will resolve the issues. So there are abundant opportunities. In the last 14 years, I've actually done all of these roles. So you get a better end-to-end understanding of how the business runs, what are the demands, and how different roles work, what kind of competencies is required, and how you can move it forward on that. Okay, so that's about the job opportunities. Now, what matters, right? Now, at the end of the day, I don't want you to look at to appear for foundation just for certification, right? I mean, we are all good in clearing exams. We are all very good in cracking exams and getting certificates and stuff like that, right? But what is important is how do you become a good professional, right? How do you develop professional competencies, right? It's not about just skills alone. It's about knowledge. It's about applying those knowledge. It's about getting the soft skill aspects, this kind of composure, the communication skills. All that's are very, very important if you want to master service management, right? So when I say about personal skills, I'm talking about good listening skills, good communication skills, good writing skills, right? And ability to help each other and work as a team, right? And developing a rapport with the diversified team. Today, we are not working in silos. We are a globally distributed teams which have got different time zones, different languages, different cultures. How do you work with this as a team, right? So I had an experience that I had teams in Japan, China, Hong Kong, and everybody have got different time zones, different languages, and the way they work is different. So you need to have a mix of approaches in order to approach this stuff and work with them and get value out of it. Now, we also need to think not only within organization perspective, but also how the industry is going. So you might be in application development, you might be in service management, you might be in big data, we could be in Hadoop, we could be any of the domains. So we need to also know what is the competition doing, what are the trends, who are doing what. So until you go beyond your context of organization and your immediate certification, look at what is what, you will not gain a lot. Over the last couple of years, I've actually traveled to about 15 countries, met with a lot of people right from assessment, gap analysis, implementation, training, where I met a lot of people and got a lot of insights. And that's where this is very good to have these courses, because in these trainings, you also get to have people from different backgrounds, different experiences, where you can share your insights of what you did well in your respective business, and we can have collective wisdom built across in the scheme of things, right? So it's absolutely very critical to understand your networks, you get contacts, and supplement this with your qualification and experience. So qualification could be your certifications, experience is actually doing the work. So when you do all these stuff, you master the art of becoming a service management professional, or any professional for that matter, right? Now, as you talk about networking, getting professional contacts and stuff, we also need to look at community building, right? So when I talk about community building, we are looking at how do we interface with other community members. So ITSMF is IT Service Management Forum. So we have IT Service Management Forum, which is a non-profit organization aimed at exchanging discussions, knowledge exchanges between IT service management professionals. So it could be in tools, it could be in process, it could be in audits, it could be in ISO 20000, it could be technical writers, it could be anything, right? So they can come and share experience. So in fact, I am also one of the board of directors for ITSM of India. So you have different chapters across the globe, and you get to know that you are not the only person you have a problem. So there is other people across geographies who have the problems, and you talk with each other, you get more insights as to how to use those best practices to the context of the organization. If you are a member of Facebook, if you access Facebook, social media, there's a group called Back to ITSM, which has got a lot of practitioners who talk about or give solutions for your problems. Then we have ISO 20000 special interest group and various LinkedIn forums where you can post questions and details. So there's a lot of community is building, and over the period of that training that we will deliver, we will exchange a lot of useful information as how to build a community, how to exchange information, what kind of groups are there to support, what kind of mentoring is available, so that we will give you more than just the course and exam and stuff like that. So that's why this is dealt more with practitioners. So we are all practitioners, and now we are not going to have theory, right? We have actually implemented all those processes and seen which works, which does not work, and then give you those insights. So from a course perspective, and this comes to the point of ITIL Foundation that you're going to attend starting. So the first batch, the next batch is going to be on 27th of June, 28th June, that is going to be on Saturday and Sunday, where I'm going to be the instructor We will talk about service management practice. Then we go on to all the core volumes, right? Strategy, design, transition, operation, service improvement. So what we will do is after every module, we also will have a module-wise quiz so that you get yourself familiarized as to what you learned versus what you applied makes sense, and you are able to get a grasp of it. So we'll have use case scenarios. We will just talk about debate, and we want you make yourself fully participative. Now, how does it work? Now, from an Edureka's perspective, as I said, this is a live online session, so it will be similar to this kind of a session where we will talk, we will discuss, then we will debate as to what are the sections. We will take quiz. Every session that we present will be recorded, so you can actually go through this recording, post the session if you want to have any questions, and you can also ask questions either through a forum or through to the instructor. I'm also planning to do a midday work next week, mid-week, probably on Wednesday or Thursday, 1 hour, where I'll address a lot of the other questions if we are not able to cover some of the questions during the class. So you will have a lot of coaching and mentoring and hands-on as to understand how this works. And you don't need to be worried that you don't have that technical skills or you're not from an infrastructure management background. We will provide some lucid non-IT examples, familiarized examples to give you come up to the speed, right? And you will, once you get an exam, get yourself write an exam for 1 hour, score 26 out of 40, then you score, you get your certificate, which is an ITIL Foundation certificate, which will be for, it will give you 2 credits, and then you can take it forward on that discussion. So that's the end of my presentation. I'm now going to open it up the floor for questions. If you have anything that you want, that you have heard so far from a foundation perspective, all that stuff, please feel free to post it in the question panel. Okay, so first question is from Hitesh Chaya. My job profile is support engineer. Which certification is best for me? So Hitesh, from a support perspective, you are in the right place. So do ITIL. So ITIL Foundation will give you the basis of what support works, and then based on what level of support you are, you can decide whether you want to go to intermediate or which course is an intermediate. So I would definitely suggest that you first get yourself ITIL Foundation certified, and then after look at what details that you need to deep dive and then enhance it. So ITIL will be a good starting point of certification for your profile. I hope that answers you, Hitesh. Okay. Any other questions? What is the course fee? So you can, I think post this one, there will be a support link given, and then you can actually log into that. I think there are some discounts also running, so you can take best use of it. It's quite economical. So you can reach out to those people, the support team, and there will be a support ID there, and they will be able to provide you all the details of the course fee structure and others, Tushar. Okay. Any center in Gujarat? No, Hitesh, now the beauty of this one is these Edureka scores are more online courses. So we don't do this face-to-face session. So irrespective of whether you are in Gujarat, you are in Bombay, you are in any part of India or abroad, you can still attend it online. And we have made it so convenient that we only use 3 hours a day. So for example, next batch is going to be 8 o'clock India time to 11:30 India time. So you can use the Saturday and Sunday 3 hours to actually get yourself done. So it's quite convenient, and you can listen to recording, you can ask questions, and you can get in the comfort of not traveling. You can be at your own place to listen. So this is more of an online course as compared to a classroom training. But we give you that experience because we are practitioners and we bring in those level of experience and expertise to help you come to that speed and gain a lot of benefit out of it. Hope that answers your question in terms of center. Yeah. Anything else that you would want to know about this stuff? So the next question is from Tushar. So we have to pay a fee online for course. Yeah, so you can pay it online. It's very simple, like as you would pay it through a credit card or transfer. There's options will be available. You can just log in and do that. It's very straightforward, very simple, and the support team will help you to get this done quickly, right? So there's absolutely a breeze in getting this done, and you'll get all the receipts and other stuff quickly. So don't need to worry about it. From your desktop, you can actually apply that, and it will be very easily done and proceed on forward. Okay, the next question is from Rakesh. The question is, if I miss a particular class, can I come up on the next class? Now, yeah, you can come, but we strongly recommend to attend the live sessions because you will have a lot of interaction, and it is very, very beneficial if you attend the live sessions. So I would say just allocate the 3 hours, and we have made it very convenient so that you can still have your personal time, you can do your work, and then you can attend this one. Okay. So that's on the part to do that. So all sessions will be live recorded, and you can reach out to it, and then you have these presentations available. You have mock questions, and we will help you, and we will make sure that before you take the exam, you are confident of taking that particular exam. Okay, so that's the model that we will work at in this case. Any other questions? Which type of project work is assigned to learner? So Tushar, for the foundation course per se, we will only do right now the foundation level questions, and then later we will see if there are some interest. We can do some kind of a scenario ones, but at the moment foundation you will not have any other project work. But when we come to intermediate, you will have a lot of case studies that we will demonstrate. But at this moment, project work is not applicable for ITIL Foundation. It will be more of the quiz, right? So you will have to answer the quiz module by module after every module, and get yourself familiarized and see how you have learned, how you have applied it in the context of the exam. Hope that addresses your question, Tushar. Okay. So we are on top of the hour, and hope you had some quite insights about ITIL Foundation, what are the programs and how does it benefit, what's the career roadmap. Feel free to send out a note to the support team. After this session that you will have a feedback, please fill in the feedback so that we know exactly how we can serve you, how we can support you. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the classes on Foundation, and then we will take it forward from there. So thanks a lot, everybody, for your time, and have a nice rest of the day, and see you all on Saturday. Thank you.